So how long do local authority searches take in Oxfordshire? Local searches are a mandatory requirement when buying a property here in Oxford, and therefore they are a vital part of the home buying process. Local searches can often take some time due to the details required in the search. So what are searches? Well, local authority searches are queries into the local area and the land where you're planning to buy a property. They include things such as whether the property is a listed building, if it's located in a conservation area, if there are development plans in the local area, and if there is a planning consent for a nearby property. What does a local authority search consist of? There are two parts to a search, a CON29 and an LLC1. The CON29 is a set of questions regarding the property and the surrounding area. It includes essential information such as planning and building regulation applications, whether any enforcement action has been taken by the local council, and whether any roads or railway schemes are in place that could affect a property's value. The LLC1 looks at local land charges which apply to each owner of the property. This includes things like tree preservation orders, smoke control orders, and whether the property is in a conservation area or not. So why are they so vital? Well, if you're buying a property in Oxfordshire with a mortgage, then it's a condition of the lender that searches are carried out before loaning you any money. This is to protect themselves against any change or sudden drop in the value of a property. For buyers with a mortgage, firstly, it's mandatory to have searches carried out, so they don't have a choice. Secondly though, the searches help to protect the buyers and give them peace of mind that their property is likely to hold and increase its value. After all, if you didn't carry out searches and then found that a motorway was going to be built through your back garden, you'd probably regret buying the property in the first place. Another huge benefit of local authority searches is that they can help buyers to negotiate the price of a house or consider whether they actually still want to proceed with the purchase. For example, if a neighbour has planning permission to build a huge extension that will block a lot of sunlight coming into the garden, a buyer may use this to try and actually lower the price a little, or potentially pull out of the purchase altogether. So how long do local searches actually take? Usually take around 2 to 3 weeks, but this varies depending on the local council. In some cases it can actually take up to 8 weeks or as little as a few days, but 2 to 3 weeks is the average time frame. You will also need to bear in mind that depending on what the searches find, your solicitor may actually advise you to carry out further searches and inquiries. For example, if a new road or railway line is due to be built near the property, your solicitor is likely to investigate further, which could again lead to delays. How much do local authority searches cost? Well, every council sets their own fees, but a local authority search typically costs between £50 to £250, with additional searches commanding an additional fee. There are other searches required in the home buying process too, which aren't classed as local authority searches, but which are still mandatory. Many solicitors will include these along with the local authority searches, which will usually cost £250 to £450. And it's worth asking your solicitor in advance for a breakdown of the search cost before instructing them. So what is a local authority search indemnity insurance? If there are delays to the searches, then your solicitor may suggest taking out an indemnity insurance policy. This covers the risk of something negatively affecting the value of the property, which would have been flagged if full searches had been carried out. An example of this would be if the local council issued a compulsory purchase order on your property to demolish it and make way for a new public faculty like a highway. Under the compulsory purchase order, you may not receive the full market value of the property, and this is where the insurance policy would cover the difference, giving you some peace of mind. However, you should be aware that not all lenders will accept an indemnity insurance policy in place of full searches being carried out, and it can be quite stressful to live in a property where you're unaware of significant local issues or threats. It's always worth checking with your solicitor and asking for their advice on the pros and cons of such a policy. I hope this helps. This is Damion Merry from Fine & Country, Oxford.